Repeat. Narayanam namaskritya
Namam Kramasthitya
chaiva narottamam
Naronjayam Narottamam
saraswatim vyasam
Devi Saraswatim Vyasam
tato jayam udirayet
Tato Jayam Udiraye
nasta prayeshu bhadreshu
Nashtayeshu Bhadreshu
bhagavat sevaya
Uttam Bhagavat Sevaya
bhagavati uttama shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
bhavati naishthiki
Yati Nauti Kineshiki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Bhakti Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya cha
Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya
Raya Namo Namaha.
Taya Namo Namah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's and Mataji's.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Sima Mataji, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Anandi Mataji, Prabhuji हैं आनंदी प्रभु अच्छा हरे कृष्णा प्रभु thank you for joining. Okay, Prabhu will let me share my screen. So we had a break of 2 weeks in between, right? 20th April we had His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj here, then we had the whole program. So last time we discussed first chapter of the fourth canto, and the chapter was titled Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu Maharaj. So Manu Maharaj has 3 daughters. What are the name of those 3 daughters?
Devahuti,
Yes.
Prasuti,
Prasuti.
and Akuti.
Akuti, yes. Akuti, elder, number 2, Devhuti, number 3, Mata Prasuti. So 3 daughters, and we are talking about the daughters of Manu Maharaj. That's what we are talking about. Their vansh. Yeah. So at the end of the first chapter, when Maitreya Rishi told Vidurji, he spoke to him about, first he spoke about Mata Akuti, then Mata Devhuti's daughters. They've already been covered in the third canto. And then he spoke about the daughters of Mata Prasuti. Mata Prasuti had 16 daughters, right, who was married to Daksh Prajapati. Out of 16 daughters, 13 daughters were married to Dharma. One daughter was married to Agni. Her name was Swaha. Swaha was married to Agni. Swadha was married to Pitrigans. And then 16th daughter Mata Sati was married to Bhagwan Shiva. When he was describing their children, so he concludes the chapter by saying that Mother Sati did not have any children. Bhavasya Patni Tu Sati. Sati, who was the wife of Bhava. Lord Shiva is called Bhava, one of the name of. And we'll talk about why in this particular context he's being addressed as Bhava. He could have been addressed as Rudra, Shiv, Bholenath, Kailashpati, Shambhu, but he's addressed as Bhava. As per Shiv Puran, Bhava represents the water or the whole. Bhav is also called Bhav Sagar, as you hear. Bhav also means blessing, as we say Yashashri Bhava, Jnanavan Bhava, like that. But Bhav represents, as per Shiv Puran, the 5th element of the creation, water. So Lord Shiva is the you can say the presiding deity of that, even though Lord Varun is the, but in this context, as per Shiv Puran, Lord Shiva is called Bhava because of that quality. And here he is being mentioned as Bhava because of his peaceful nature, which we will know about further. So Maitreya Rishi tells Vidurji that Bhavasya Patni tu sati. Bhavam Devam Anuvrata. Bhagwan Shiv ki Patni was Mata Sati, even though who was following him, who was serving him as a demigod. Bhavam Devam Anuvrata. She was serving him like that. But Atmana Sadrisham Putram na leve Gunashilata. She still could not produce a son who inheriting her own qualities. She could not produce a son. And then in the next verse, he answers why that could not happen. He says, Pitri aprati rupe swe bhavaya anagase rusha. Because Pitri, because of her father's anurupe, pratirupe, I mean, non-friendly. His non-friendly bhav towards bhavaya, anagase, faultless Bhagwan Shiv. So his unfriendly behavior, nature towards Bhagwan Shiv, right, who was faultless, Rusha, Mata Sati got upset, she got angry. And in that angry, what she did, apraudeva atmanam jahad yoga sanyuta. Prod is, we call prod age, mature age. So thank you. So even in the unmature age itself, she wasn't mature to, like, even in the unmatured age itself, she quit her body because she was angry against her father. Atmanam jahad yoga sanyuta. It is said that the mother Sati requested fire god to burn her. But then fire god refused. He said, you are Adi Shakti. How can I burn you? And when that did not happen, then she produced Yoga Agni. Through the Yoga Agni, she quit her body herself because she was angry. That is why she did not have a child from that marriage. That is why Mother Sati did not have a child. So that was the ending of the last chapter. Now in this chapter, Vidurji asked various questions to Maitreya as to why that happened. Why did she quit her body? And this chapter is titled Dakṣa curses Shiva. Dakṣa curses Lord Shiva. Yeah. So in this verse, we will talk about that verse and then I'll go back to his questions. We will do that. But just so you context, in that context, there's a yagna happening, big sacrificial ceremony arranged by Brahmaji. Then Daksh came into that assembly and then cursed Lord Shiva. But then still, and Daksh left from that assembly, Lord Shiva left from that assembly. But all the demigods, Brahmaji, all the Rishi Muni, they stayed there to complete the ceremony. So this is that verse. Okay, please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Te api Vishwa Sraja Satram. Te api Vishwa Sraja Satram.
Vishwashruja
Sahasra Parivatsaran.
Sahasra-parivatsaran.
Sahasra Parivatsaran.
Sahasra-parivatsaran.
Samvidhaya Maheshwasa.
Samvidhaya maheshvasa.
Samvidhaya Maheshwasa.
Samvidhaya maheshvasa.
Yatre Rishabho Hari.
Yatre rushabho hari.
Yatre Rishabho Hari.
Yatre rishabho hari.
So like I said, Daksh Prajapati left from that assembly, Lord Shiva left from that assembly, but all the Vishwa Sraja, all the progenitors of the universe, all the creator or the leaders, they stayed there. Yeah? So that is the meaning of this word. So let's take word by word translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, please repeat, te, those, api, even,
Api, even,
Vishwasraja,
Vishwaja,
progenitors of the universal population.
progenitors of the universal population.
Satram,
The,
the sacrifice.
the sacrifice.
Sahasra,
Sahasra,
1,000.
1,000.
Parivatsaran,
Parivatsaran, years.
Samvidhaya,
Samvidhaya,
performing.
performing.
Maheshwasa,
Maheshwasa, O Vidura,
Yatra,
Yatra,
which,
in which
Ja,
Ja,
to be worshipped.
to be
Rishabha,
Rishabha,
presiding deity
presiding
of all
deity
demigods.
of all
Hari,
demigods.
Hari, as in Bhagwan Hari. Okay. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki,
Okay.
please repeat. The sage Maitreya continued,
The sage Maitreya continued,
O Vidur,
O Vidur,
all the progenitors
all the progenitors
of the universal population
of the universal population
thus executed
thus
a
executed
sacrifice
a
for
sacrifice
thousands of years.
for thousands of years.
For sacrifice is the
For the sacrifice is
best
the
way to
best way to
worship the
worship the
Supreme Lord.
Supreme Lord,
Hari,
Hari,
the personality of Godhead.
the personality of Godhead.
Well, this is so very nicely explained here. Sacrifice is the best way to worship the Supreme. At any level, any relationship, sacrifice is the best way. Starting from our humanly relationship also. If you sacrifice something for me, I get pleased. Isn't it? In all the dealings, all the relationship, sacrifice. Prabhu, you come first. You take first. We please each other. Same principle. So we have that tendency. We have that tendency to offer, but we are offering at a wrong place. We have the tendencies there, right? Yes. Sacrifice is definitely there. We do sacrifice, but we don't sacrifice for the right cause. We are sacrificing for something different, isn't it? We all sacrifice. It's a very important concept, something to think about, you know. Yeah, okay. Purport. Maybe we recite the verse, I think, yeah. Let's recite the verse and meditate on this, sacrifice word, please.
Tepi Vishwasraja Satram.
Te api Vishwasraja Satram.
Sahasra Parivatsaram.
Sahasra
Sahasra
Parivrittaram.
Samvedaya Mahaswasa.
Samvidhaya Maheshwasa.
Yatraya Rishibho Hari.
Yatre Rishabho Hari. Anyone else want to recite?
Te api Vishwasraja Satram.
Te api Vishwasraja Satram.
परिवत्सरान्
सहस्र
परिवर्तनं
परिवत्सरान्
विधाय महेश्वास
संविधाय महेश्वास
यत्रेज्य ऋषभो हरिः
यत्रेज्य ऋषभो हरिः. Seema Mata, you want to recite?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Te api vishvashrujah satram
Te api vishvasraja satram
sahasra parivatsaran
सहस्र परिवत्सरान्
samvidhaya maheshvasa
संविधाय महेश्वास
yatreja rushabho hari.
यत्रेज्य ऋषभो हरिः. Jai. Okay, purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please hear. It is clearly stated here that the stalwart personalities who generate the entire population of the world are interested in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering sacrifices. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. I am the Bhokta of all the Yagna and Tapasya, all the austerities. One may engage in performing sacrifices and severe austerities for perfection, but they are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. If such activities are performed for personal satisfaction, one is involved in pashanda or atheism. But when they are performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, one is following the Vedic principle. To an extent, we are all pashanda. But that's okay. We all have made mistakes. We all make mistakes. But that is why I say through the satsang, through the association, we help each other realize and progress together. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. You will see here, Bhrigu Rishi will make mistake. Brahmaji made mistake. But the point is to move on through the association, through the right association. That is the point. But when they are performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, one is following the Vedic principle. All the assembled sages performed sacrifices for 1,000 years. Another important point I want to highlight in this verse, Vidur is addressed as Maheshwasa. If you notice, Maheshwas, O Vidur. Maheshwas means a perfect archer. You might say Arjun was a perfect archer, right? So archer is also, you are all archers. Where you are aiming your arrows, you're all archers. In that sense, Vidurji is a perfect archer because he is making these queries. And through these queries, Lord Krishna's name is being recited and his glories are being mentioned. He is also an archer. So in that sense, not as in the warfare, you are an archer. Generally also you are an archer. Anyone can be an archer. As long as Mata Devuti asked, Yo yogo bhagavad bana. What is that yo? Of that arrow, where that arrow should be pointed. So she's asking that yoga as an arrow. Yeah. So that is why his address is Maheshwasa. Okay, let's do Mangalacharan and then we will discuss further. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanyam Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Raghunatham Vitantam Sajivam Savadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा
Krishna
कृष्णा
Krishna
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे राम राम
Rama
राम राम
Rama
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
Hare Hare
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Hare
भूतेर्महद्भिर्ययिमा पुरो विभो निर्मायशेते यदमोष पुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणांशो दशषोडशात्मकम् सोऽलङ्कसृष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथा अमृतं सतत पिबतं भक्ति वेदांत मार्ग पंथनम सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नम सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नम Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. May the Supreme Lord please decorate my tongue. May the right words come at the right time. And may we are all truly able to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada, Sarv Guru Maharaj, and all the living entities. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So, we are discussing chapter 4.2. Let me I think I did not share the screen, right? So, as you can see, the picture says, and the chapter is titled Dakṣa curses Lord Shiva. So, like I said, at the end of the last chapter, Maitreya told Vidur that Mata Sati, she did not have a child, even though she was married to Bhagavan Shiva, right? And she served the Lord Shiva, Devam Anuvrata, Bhavam Devam Anuvrata. She served him like a demigod, as in there was no mistake, no husband wife, so there was no mistake in her service. Rather, when Mata Devhuti, when in the third canto, when Maitreya is speaking about how Mata Devhuti served Kardam Rishi, he gives an example. He says, Bhavani iva bhavam vibhu. How Bhavani, how Mother Sati or Mata Parvati served Bhagavan Shiva similarly. Patimingit Kovida, Paricharyaya. Just by signal, Mata Devuti could read what Lord Bhagavan Kardam Rishi needed. Similarly, Mata Sati was always alert, realizing that this is what Lord Shiva will need 2 days after now. So she was very serving him. And he is compared to demigod, as in with full. Another reason is she came from a royal family. Mother Sati came from a royal family. must realize she was a princess. But she realized that Bhagavan Shiv, even though he was living in a crematorium and all those places, he wasn't wearing as fleshy clothes as others, but she had full respect for him. So a very important quality. Right? So that's the point he's highlighting here, Maitreya Rishi. Even though she was married to Bhagavan Shiv, she served him like a demigod, Bhavam Devam Anuvrata, but she could not. Sadrisham Putram Na Lebhe Gunashilata. Right? In qualities and in gentleness, she could not have a son like her. And then he explained why. Because Pitri Aprati Rupe Swe Bhavaya Anagase. Because Lord Shiva, who was faultless, against whom Pitri, her father, did not have a friendly attitude. Because of that, she got angered and then she quit her own body at a proud eva. At an proud means proud, I think, Prabhu, is when we grow old, like not to have children, isn't it? Proud, madhyam, yeah, middle age, yeah, yeah. So she was of the age when she could have had children. That's the point. But even before growing old, she quit her body. So now Vidurji gets a bit bewildered that what is it? How come there is so enmity between, or why was Daksh so unfriendly towards Lord Shiva? He says, Bhave Guna Shilatam Shresthe. He's the topmost in qualities and gentleness. He's the best. Yeah. Daksho Duhitara Vassala. Daksh is very lovingly towards his daughters. You know? Then he's asking that why? That why there was this, enmity, right? And enmity to such an extent that he disrespected his daughter, Anadrata Atmajam Satin, that he disrespected his own daughter. So Vidurji is asking a question, what happened? Why there was such an animosity between them? And then he even asked, further he goes on to glorify Lord Shiva. He says, Lord Shiva, who is Charachar Guru, Kastam Charachar Guru, Shant Vigraham, Nirvairam, who is peace personified, who does not envy anyone, Atmaram, who is always self-satisfied, Then he asks, Katham Dveshti. Why? Why did he had such an animosity towards him, towards Lord Shiva, who is Jagato Daivatam Mahat, who is considered to be the greatest of the demigods. Mahadev, he is called Mahadev. And not just that, then he says, because of that animosity, Etad Akhyahi me Brahman, yeah, Jamatu Swasurasya cha. Jamatu as in son-in-law, Swasur as in father-in-law. Why such a fight between father-in-law and son-in-law? We have heard daughter-in-law and mother-in-law fights there. But why son-in-law and father-in-law fight? And because of that fight, Mother Sati, she left her body, which is Dustaja. Very difficult. We haven't, we don't want to leave body till the end, right? Isn't it? We all have such a great affection to the body. So he asked these questions. Now, I mentioned to you in the beginning, so very important to understand. In Shiv Puran, Shatarudra Samhita, Bhava form of Shiva enlivens the entire universe in the form of water. So Like I was saying in the beginning, why is addressed as Bhava here? Why not Rudra? Why not Shiv? Why not Shambhu? Why not Kailashpati? So that quality we will see now in this chapter throughout. Daksh is cursing him. He is capable of doing everything, but he still maintains. So that from that aspect, he is addressed here as Bhava. So Vidurji asks these questions from Maitreya Rishi, and then Maitreya Rishi starts telling him that in old times, Pura, Pura Vishwa Srajam Satre, all the progenitors, all the leaders of the universe, Vishwa Srajam Satre, as in sacrifice, right? They all assembled to perform a great sacrifice. Who all came there? He says, Paramar Rishya, all the great sages came there. Yeah. Tatha Amaragana Sarve, all the demigods came there. Right. And then he also says, Muniyo Agnaya. Sanuga Muniyo Agnaya. Munis came, Agni, all the fire gods came, right? All the progenitors, including Brahma, and all the great rishis came in that assembly with their followers. They all had assembled there to perform a yagna. Right? Right. As they had agreed to perform the yagna ceremony, then in that assembly it is said that when Daksh entered, so all of them were there, they were sitting there, but Daksh entered in that assembly and he was performing his duties very nicely, by the way. He was a Prajapati, he was very successful, his rule was very good. He had got his daughters married, so he had established all those relationships because he got his 13th daughter married to Dharma. So Dharma was his own son. So, he was very well connected in that sense, very successful. So as he entered in that assembly, now Maitriji describes that the glow, sometimes we say somebody is carrying an aura. So when Daksha entered into that assembly, he describes him as Arkam Iva. Ark means sun. Arkam Iva Rochisha. He was glowing like a sun. And by his entry, all these demigods, all the other senior personalities sitting there you can say, presence got subdued because of his entry. He illuminated the whole assembly. Bhrajmanam vitimiram. Bhrajmanam vitimiram. Timir means Om Ajnana Timirandhasya. Timir. So that darkness dissipated. Well, can there be any darkness where Brahmaji is there, all the demigods are there? Right. But they're saying by Daksha's entry, all the darkness dissipated. All the darkness got removed from that assembly as Daksha entered into that assembly. Now, as Daksha entered into that assembly, all the demigods, all the rishis, including the fire gods, they all stood up. They all stood up to welcome him, to greet him, except he says, Rite Viranchisam Sarvamcha. The Viranchi as in Brahmaji and Bhagavan Shiv. As you can see them sitting there. These two personalities were sitting there. Everyone else stood up. Everyone else stood to welcome. Now, Daksh entered into that assembly. Daksh paid his obeisances to Brahmaji. He paid his obeisances to Brahmaji as if he is the supreme. And he says, Bhagavan, Daksho sa Bhagavan. Right? Sadhu, as in perfect etiquette. Yeah? He offered his obeisances to Brahmaji. And then with Brahmaji's permission, Daksh took his seat. As Daksh took his seat in the assembly, Daksh was looking angrily at Lord Shiva. He noticed that everybody stood up except Lord Shiva. And he was gazing with his both eyes, Chakshubhyam, yeah? Abhivikshaya Dahanniva. Chakshubhyam as in both the eyes. With both the eyes, he was Abhivikshaya. He was staring at Lord Shiva as if Dahanniva, as if he is going to burn him. With that look, he looked at Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva didn't even look at him. He was looking down, he was meditating, right? But Daksh was very agitated. And as everybody sat down, now Daksh wanted to address the assembly. कहते उन्होंने माइक ले लिया फिर. Then Daksh took the mic. And then he spoke to all the assembled, guests there, senior personalities there. He said, all of you senior personalities here, may you all hear from me. May you all hear from me the etiquettes, how the etiquettes should be. Lokpalanam, all the Rishi, all the Muni, how we should behave, how we should interact with each other. And then he said, I am not saying this out of ignorance. Agnanat nacha matsarat. I am not speaking this because of ignorance or because of enviousness. I am speaking the etiquettes. I am speaking the principle, how we should welcome, how we should greet each other. And then he started addressing Lord Shiva directly, right? So until this point, now he started looking at Lord Shiva and he started telling him, right? By the way, it is said that, just some background, let me tell you. Mother Sati, she wanted to marry Bhagwan Shiva, Lord Shiva. And she was performing austerities. When Brahmaji realized that these daughters are marriageable, and Brahmaji's son is Dakṣa. Dakṣa is Brahmaji's son. So as a father-son relationship, daughters are marriageable. So son goes and consults the father. Father, my daughter is marriageable. Whom should I get this daughter married? Whom should I get that daughter married? So like this, he was discussing with Brahmaji. But on this side, Mother Sati was already performing austerities, even though Lord Shiva was considered inauspicious, even though he was living in the crematoriums and all of that. But Mother Sati knew. She knew about Lord Shiva. He's such a great personality. So she was performing austerities, penances, and all the chanting to get Lord Shiva as her husband. And Daksh found out about it, and Daksh tried to convince her that you should marry someone else. There are so many princes, we are a royal family, etc., etc. But Mother Sati was fixed in her resolution. Then Daksh went to consult Brahmaji. He thought maybe Brahmaji will think otherwise to what Sati is thinking, and he could be able to convince Sati. So he went to Brahmaji and he spoke to Brahmaji about this. And Brahmaji said, very nice. This is perfect. You should get Sati married to Shiva. Now Daksh already had a grudge against Shiva. He could not do much because, and it is also said that he was very much connected to his youngest daughter, Mother Sati. And somehow he felt that Shiva will not be able to keep her happy. She has grown up in a palace and she's used to all these facilities. What Shiva can provide to her? That's what he used to think. So when he's saying, I'm not speaking out of ignorance or out of enviousness, he's actually speaking out of ignorance and out of enviousness. He already held a grudge against Lord Shiva. He was looking for an opportunity that may I get an opportunity and then I want to teach this, teach Lord Shiva some lesson or whatever. He was already thinking like that. So now in that assembly, Daksh ne mic le liya. He took the mic and he started blaspheming Lord Shiva. He starts by saying that Lord Shiva, he's a shameless person. He's a shameless person. He does not have any shelter. He gives shelter to people who does not have shelter. Now it is said that he is calling out bad things in Lord Shiva, but Shastras and Acharyas, they even take the different meaning, like, dual meaning. So they draw the right meaning out of that. When he's saying shameless, they're saying he's shameless because he doesn't feel any shame in providing shelter to all the sinners. There is no shame. We might feel somebody comes on the street and starts talking to you in a friendly way, whose clothes are torn, and you'll be like, oh, what if people see me with you? Go away, go away. Go away, I'll talk to you afterwards, right? But Shiva, no shame. So he's saying this, but our Acharya is saying they are the good qualities. He says he is stubbed. He's very proud. He's not moving. I'm coming here. He's sitting there. They say that is also another great quality because he's unmoving. He's very situated in his position. Then he says he's Yashogna. Yash Agna. Yash means the glories. He has destroyed the glories of all the demigods in that assembly because he did not stand up. But Acharya says Lord Shiva's glories are so high that everyone else's glory automatically gets destroyed in front of Lord Shiva. See, Daksh is still getting benefit. Even though he is committing sins, but he is still getting benefit like this. Acharyas are only taking the right meaning. They are not taking the wrong meanings. See, this is how merciful the Lord is. This is how merciful the Acharya is. They don't look at our faults, right? They always see the good qualities. Like a bee, it goes and sucks out the best part. Similarly. So like this Dakṣa was telling. And then he calls him Sadhu what? He is not a sadhu, right? Shameless and proud. Yeah, posing himself as honest, but he is not honest. You know, he poses as a sadhu, but he is not a sadhu because he doesn't behave like a sadhu. Right? He eats all wrong things. He doesn't dress properly. He stays in crematorium. All those kind of things he started highlighting. And then he says he is monkey-eyed. Yeah. He says, I married my daughter, who is Mrig Shavak Akshaya. My daughter who has the eyes like a deer's baby. You know, so beautiful eyes, my daughter. And I married my daughter to this Markat. Markat as in called monkey. Right? Markat Akshana, whose eyes are like a monkey. Right? But here Acharya says, materialistic people who behaves like monkeys, Lord Shiva does not care about their monkey-like habits. Rather, he looks at their positive habits. So like that. Yeah. Then he says, he is a rascal, impure. And he married my beautiful daughter. And he says that I married my beautiful daughter to him because of Brahmaji's. You know, and he says that even though I married my daughter to him, in that relationship, he's my disciple. He's junior to me. Right? He should, at least from the words, he should glorify me. He hasn't even glorified me by the words. He is auspicious in name only, but his conduct is inauspicious. And he says, and then he is regretting. He says, Datta Bata Maya Sadhavi Chodite Parameshthina. Datta, I gave away my daughter, my Sadhavi daughter, to him. Bata as in alas. Oh, I gave away my Sadhavi daughter to him on Parameshthina. Now he is addressing Brahma not as his father. He is addressing him as Jagat Guru. Parameshthi means Jagat Guru, Parameshthi. He doesn't want to call Brahma as his father. And he's addressing him as Parameshthi, Jagat Guru, saying his intelligence was gone. Even though he's Jagat Guru, but he instructed me to get my daughter married to this monkey-eyed person. See, he's committing sin after sin. So like this, he was cursing. And now, after speaking all of these things against Lord Shiva, Daksh took water in his hand. He took water in his hand and he was ready to curse. Everybody was trying to persuade him, no, Daksh, you should not do that. Not do that, don't do that. But Daksh did not care. He took water in his hand and he cursed Lord Shiva. And his curse was that he will not get bhagam, sabhagam na labhatam dever deva gana adhama. He is the Adhama. He is the lowest in all the demigods. And he will not get his share in this sacrificial ceremony. He will never get his bhag, never get his share in any sacrificial ceremony. He cursed and he left the assembly. It is said that it turned out to be a boon. By the way, in those days, when you are cursing someone, the curse will work. Unless something very seriously wrong. That is why you see cursing, counter cursing was going on those days. So the best way was people used to walk off. If you curse me, I curse you. Everybody had the power in Satyug. Once you curse someone, then you have to bear you have to face the consequences. So they say it is good that Lord Shiva does not have to take the things which are often offered in a yagna. Because it is not considered good when sometimes people perform yagna for to gain something. Very rarely people perform yagna ceremony for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Sometimes you perform yagna, or meri ye bimari chali jaye, may this problem go away, may this thing happen. So when you invite the demigods, they have to come. Obviously, person who is performing the yagna depends on them, but they come and they have to accept. But Lord Shiva is completely out of that. So it turned out to be boon for him that he does not have to accept all of this. So like this, Daksh cursed Lord Shiva and then he left the assembly. Now, after Daksh had cursed Lord Shiva and he left angrily, now Nandishwar started counter cursing Daksh and his followers. Now let's know who Nandishwar is. Who is Nandishwar?
Person who Shiva sits on the vehicle.
Yes. Bhagwan Shiv ke vahan hai. Lord Shiva travels. So it is said that just so you know about who Nandishwar is, right? Sorry.
Yeah, there's a story behind it.
Yeah. There's a story behind that. So let's know why he's so close to Lord Shiva. Yeah. So do you know the name of the Rishi, Prabhu? Who was the Rishi? Who is Nandishwar's father? Okay. Yeah, I also forgot. I'm asking. I think Lad, something like that. It started with that. Anyway, so he was a great Rishi, and he was brahmachari, celibate, and he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And after some time, when he was getting older, he realized, I don't have a son. And he was thinking, because I don't have a son, what will happen to my forefathers? What is the purpose of, what is the definition of putra? Punna iti putra. So it is described in the 5th canto. When we'll study, we will know. There is a hell called Pun, right? Well, God forbid that our forefathers don't have to go into that hell. But if by any mistake, by any chance, because sometimes mistakes happen, unknowingly also we commit mistakes. So unknowingly, if somehow the forefathers have to go into that hell, it is the duty of the son to save the forefathers. Yeah. So this Rishi, Shilad Rishi. So Shilad Rishi, he was getting older and he realized that I don't have any son. What will happen to my forefathers? They will not be liberated. As he was thinking like that, he started performing great penances to perform Lord Shiva. Because he was a devotee of Lord Shiva. He thought, let me please Lord Shiva and ask him, what is my duty in this situation? So he performed great penances and Lord Shiva was pleased with him. And Lord Shiva then appeared. So Lord Shiva appeared in front of Shilad and Lord Shiva asked him, tell me, what do you want? Right? And he told Lord Shiva that, my dear Lord, I've been a brahmachari all my life because I'm a great devotee of you. I haven't married. So please tell me, how can I have a son so that my forefathers will be liberated? So Lord Shiva said, okay, you will have a son and Lord Shiva disappeared. Now, some time passed, and one day Shalad Rishi was traveling in the farm. As he was traveling in the farm, in some cases it is said, stories, he was farming himself, he was plowing the land. In some cases it is said he was walking in a forest, right? Various instances are described, but Shiv Puran says he was walking in a farm. As he was walking in a farm, he saw a young child on the field and he was crying. So Shalad went, and out of affection, he looked at the child and he picked up the child. The child was so beautiful and he was crying. And then Shalad picked up the child and he was thinking, oh, who has left this child in this, in this farm? And he was thinking and he like that and talking to himself. And, sound from the skies came and they said, and it said, Shalad, he's your son. He's your son. Go and look after him and grow him up as a learned boy, learned man. And then Shalad brought him home and started taking care of him. And he named this boy Nandi. Because Nandi means who gives Nanda, who gives pleasure. Because he was giving pleasure to Shalad and everyone else, so he named him Nandi. And the boy was growing nicely and serving and everything. Now one day, two sages came to his house, Shalad's house. Two sages came. They were none other than Varun and Mitra, demigods, these two demigods, Varun and Mitra. They came there, they stayed there for a couple of days. They said to Shalad, we're looking for shelter. Shalad said, please stay at my place. And he served them nicely. Shalad served them nicely. Shalad then told his son Nandi, make sure they are looked after very nicely. Nandi, along with his father, they served those sages. Now, as the time for the sages came to leave that place, now Shalad came and paid his obeisances. And those sages gave a boon. They blessed Shalad, saying, may you live long life, healthy life, like this. But when Nandi came, they said, you stay well, do well, etc. But they did not bless him with the long age. When they did not bless him with a long age, now Shalad got worried. And Shalad asked them, what is the reason? They said, this boy will leave his body in a very few years. And then Shalad got worried. What shall I do? And Nandi overheard the conversation. And Nandi told his father, Father, why are you worried? Why are you worried? We are a devotee of Lord Shiva. Let's go and please Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva will take care of us. No need to worry. So like this, Nandi encouraged his father. And then his father said, okay. And then Nandi started worshipping Lord Shiva. And as Nandi was worshipping Lord Shiva for many years, he performed penances. Now Lord Shiva came. And Lord Shiva came and Nandi then looked at Lord Shiva. He paid his obeisances. He paid his danvat to Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva asked him, what do you want? He did not ask for a long age. He did not ask for any boon, like any materialistic boon. What he asked for is that, my dear Lord, please make me your servant. Please make me your servant. May I stay with you all the time. May I serve you all the time. And Lord Shiva was pleased with him. Lord Shiva said, okay, from now on, you will become one of my main servants. Ganadhipati. Yeah. As in the head of all of my servants. Chief servant. Like this. So Lord Shiva then took him like that. No issue with the age, nothing. So he accepted him as the head of the servants. Like this. There is another pastime mentioned that during the Sagar Manthan, when the churning of the ocean happened, and Lord Shiva drank the halahal, the poison. When Lord Shiva drank the poison, few drops fell on the ground. Nandi was there, and when Nandi saw his master drinking all the poison, he felt for his master, and then whatever few drops were left on the ground, Nandi licked those drops. And then Lord Shiva got even more pleased. He thought, if my master is drinking this, why can't I drink? So like this, Nandishwar is, so he is called, now he was Nandi, now he became Nandishwar. He's given the title of Nandishwar. And Lord Shiva told him, you will become my my Vahan, you will represent Dharma. Bull represents Dharma, right? So like this. He's also called Vrishketu. Lord Shiva is addressed as Vrishketu.
Bhanu also.
Vrishbhanu also. So Vrish means bull. So this is the background of how Nandi became so close to Lord Shiva. Now, in that assembly, when Dakṣa cursed Lord Shiva, he called him inauspicious. He called him, monkey-eyed. He called him so many bad names, shameless, this and that, everything. Nandishwar could not tolerate. Nandishwar could not tolerate. He stood up. And then he started cursing them back. Right? First of all, it is pretty logical. When he stood up, Nandishwar started speaking. And he said, the first thing is, because Dakṣa and his followers are one, but all the Brahmanas and all the demigods sitting in that assembly, they also did not object to Dakṣa speaking badly for Lord Shiva. Same if you go back to in Kaurav assembly, they all kept quiet. And when Mata Sati leaving the body in Ramcharitmanas, we will hear about it in the next chapter. Mata Sati curses, Sunahu Savasad Sakal Muninda, Kahi Sune Jin Sankar Ninda. Everyone sitting in this assembly, sometimes we say, Mujhe kya farak padta hai? What is wrong with you? No? We should stand up. We should speak the truth. What is wrong? Dharma nadusar satya samana. Bhagavan Ram is telling, there is no other dharma, right, other than speaking the truth. Yeah. So Nandishwar stood up and he said, in this assembly, you're all the great personalities of the universe. Lord Shiva is being cursed and none of you stood up and spoke anything. And he said, Dakṣa is speaking at the bodily level. Because he's speaking at the bodily level, all the Dakṣa and his followers will be bereft of the transcendental knowledge. Tattva. Tattva vatho vimukho bhavet. Vimukho, you will be bereft of tattva. What is the essence? What is the purpose? What is the transcendence? You will all become bereft of the transcendental knowledge because you are talking at a bodily level. Because of duality, prithag. So Dakṣa is speaking, Dakṣa is calling all the fault in Lord Shiva at a body level. And none of you spoke. So he cursed them that you all will be bereft of the transcendental knowledge. Right? Then he cursed all the Brahmanas in that assembly. He says, all of you Brahmanas, you will become connected to the karma kanda activities. Because you don't understand the difference between soul and the body. You are so-called knower of the Veda, but you haven't understood the essence of the Veda. Right? Vedescha sarver ahameva vedyo. Krishna is saying, I am to be known by the Vedas. But this person, he is coming and he's criticizing at a body level, then all the transcendental, all your so-called knowledge of the Vedas is useless. So this is only for the Karam Kand. You know how in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna? Second chapter, verse number 42-43. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschita vedavad ratah partha na anyad asti iti vadina. Hey Parth, those so-called knower of the Vedas, they say there is nothing else. Vedavad ratah partha, so-called knowers of the Veda. Right? Na anyad asti. They say there is nothing else in the Vedas. Then Arjuna asked them, then my dear Lord, what is there in their understanding? And then Krishna says, in their understanding, Arjuna, in the Vedas are meant for Kama Atmana, fulfilling the desires, gratifications. Swarga para, Janma Karma Phala Pradam. Swarga para, as in going to the heavenly planets. That is the purpose of Vedas. And before that he said, Yam imam pushpitam vacham. as in the flowery language of the Vedas. So that's what Nandi is speaking to them here. That your flowery understanding of the Vedas. You understand Veda at that level. You do this, I get this. I perform this yagna, I get this result. So to that level, you have understood the Vedas at the Karma Kanda level. You are sitting in this assembly of performing the great sacrifice. By the way, this sacrifice was arranged by Brahmaji. This is Brahmaji's yagna. Lord Shiva and Dakṣa were a guest there. It was all happening under the supervision, under the direction of Lord Brahma. They were all the guests. But they went there like we go sometime, sometime we go in the temple, we see yagna is happening, everybody start pouring the, oblations in the fire. Everybody thinks, Acha Bhagwan, mera ye bhi ho jaye, mera ye bhi ho jaye. The main person who is performing the yagna, they are left behind. Everybody around them, they start pouring the things in the, fire sacrifice. That's the mentality. So that's what Nandishwar is cursing them. That you are so-called Brahmanas who are sitting here for this sacrifice. It is just the karma kanda. Yeah? So that's what Lord Krishna is telling Arjun. And those, in their minds, the only purpose of this Vedas is to Kamatmana, Swargapara, Janma, Karma, Phalapradam, good life, birth in a good family, right? All these results. We can relate to that, right? We also didn't know, and we don't know even now. Even now we get into that. But through this association only now we are discussing. Something will go in our heart, something will go in our mind, which we will be able to go and apply in our lives. Right? So to that extent, that's what Krishna is saying. Bhog Aishwarya Pratim Gati. That is their only result. That is the only purpose. Bhog Aishwarya. That's all. Yeah. They are performing big ceremonies. Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. Like they perform, I think recently there is some marriage happening in India and they're spending millions and millions of rupees. They're inviting all the key personalities across the world. They're assembling there. They call it marriage of the century. So all of this purpose. I tell you once, I was attending this marriage and the Panditji was there and Panditji had given them a time for starting the ferry, that ceremony. But they had called DJ. The guests they had called DJ and DJ was playing the music and they were dancing. Now Panditji is saying, Prabhu, time is running, please come. Now boys are dancing, girl is dancing, everybody is dancing. And he's saying, please come. Please come. The time is running, muhurt ja raha hai. Right? And then I know, Prabhu, hamare wahi the, Mishra ji Pandit. Mishra ji, I was there. And Mishra ji telling me, Prabhu, ye ab naach rahe hain, fir sari umar naach. They are dancing now, they will dance for the whole life. I'm calling them, please come, ceremony is going. So they just did the ceremony for the sake of show off. Facebook Live, this. So that's what Nandishwar is telling them, that you will become attached householders and you will be only limited to karma kand. Another curse, right? And then he says, let Daksh have the face of a goat. Daksho basta mukho bhavet. Daksho basta mukho achirat. Daksh will get a face of a goat, achirat, within no time. See, this is future is already told. In the next chapter, Veerbhadra will come and he will chop off Daksha's head and he will get a goat's head. Now, why he's getting goat's head? Yes. So goat represents desires, sexual desires, anger. It says goats, if a goat is angry, in the anger, in their blood, a diamond can be melted. If a goat gets angry, such an anger, right? So it represents desires, anger, right? So Daksha is in that category. That is why he's given the head of a goat. Why not head of a dog or a cat or elephant or anyone like that? That's why he got. You know, there are some ceremonies where they offer a goat. You know, some people, we don't need to name them, but a goat is offered in that ceremony. What is the purpose of that ceremony? Every family is offering a goat. So the real purpose of that, in that also, if you look at, the real purpose is you offering your desires to the Supreme Lord. But it is now just limited to cutting a goat and eating the flesh, that's all. But the whole purpose is, my dear Lord, I am a goat-like person, so I offer my desires to you. That is the mood. How? So Nandishwar cursed that let Dakṣa have the face of a goat. And then he cursed on Brahmanas and Dakṣa followers. Like he's already cursed the Brahmanas, right? That these Brahmanas, they will be Karamkandi, right? They will not have, then he further says that Muhyanti, you will be bewildered because you have shown enmity towards Haradvishya. So Lord Shiva's another name is mentioned is Hara. So what is the meaning of Hara? Sadhguru, take away. Yes. Who destroys? So Hari, Har, and Hare. Remember these three. Hari is Lord Shiva. No, sorry. Hari is Bhagavan Krishna. Right? Hare is Srimati Radharani and Har is Shiva. Who is destroyer, who takes away everything. So now Nandishwar is saying, he's addressing, now he's used the word Har, who destroys everything. You have shown enmity towards him, so all your so-called things, they will get destroyed. He's saying you will not have any discrimination. Your vivek will be destroyed. Your sense of discrimination will be destroyed. Bhakshaya, abhakshaya. What to eat, what not to eat, that discrimination will be destroyed now. You will perform all these ceremonies for material gains. You will be performing these ceremonies and you will be going door to door as a beggars. He told for Brahmanas. That's what is going to happen to you all. And in Kali Yuga, it is proven, right? That curse. So like this, he cursed Daksh followers, and all the Brahmanas sitting in that assembly. And he said, you think you know the Vedas? You haven't understood the essence of the Vedas. Very important. Right? The essence of the Vedas is Vishnu path. But you are Prithag mentality. You are in duality. So your discrimination is already gone and it will be further destroyed. So this will be your situation. Now, as Nandishwar was cursing them, Bhriguji was also sitting in that assembly. Bhrigu gets very angry as well. Ugre Patal Bhrigukul Patike. Parshuramji is related to Bhrigu Rishi in that lineage. Parshuramji was very angry. Suni Mridu Gud Bachan Raghupati ke Ugre Patal Bhrigukul Patike. His eyes got opened when Lord Shiva spoke very nice. Lord Ram spoke very sweet words. You know, Parshuramji was fighting. I want to fight with you. Ram, fight with me. And Bhagavan Ram was saying, no, you are Brahman, you are this, you are that. Right? And then he said, you don't know me. And then Bhagavan Ram told Parshuramji, right, that your dynasty is so glorious. You Brahmanas are so glorious. Actually, you are trying to scare me, but whoever you are merciful, abhay ho hi jo tum hi derai. Right? He says, such is the greatness of your dynasty. If you are trying to scare him, someone, he actually become fearless. Now, Parshuramji thinking, what is he saying? Parshuramji was shaking in anger. His blood was boiling. He's saying, fight. He says, Vipra Vans ki as prabhutai abhay ho hi jo tum hi derai. Vipra as in Brahman. He says, Brahman, your Prabhuta, my dear Lord, you are so great. If you are trying to scare someone, they become fearless. And then Bhrigu ji said, oh, kuch gadbad hai. Kya bol raha hai? And then Tulsidas ji says, Suni mridu good. Mridu as in very soft. Good as in deep meaning. Deep, so by hearing deep and soft words of Lord Ram, Raghupati ke ugre patal, his eyes got opened. Now he realized truly. Right? Bhrigu Kulupati ke. He is the carrier of Bhrigu dynasty, you can say in that sense. As our Lord Ram is Raghupati, he is Bhrigu Kulupati. So the anger is running in the family. So in that sense. So Bhrigu Rishi got very upset. Well, all the rishis were sitting there.
उसके आगे का लाइन क्या है?
किसका?
वो भय कराते हैं तो क्या होता है? वो कैसे निर्भय हो जाते हैं?
अभय हो ही जो तुम ही डराई.
कैसे होते हैं? क्या होता है? वो कैसे अभय हो जाते हैं?
नहीं, because you are just scaring him. They get, Lord Ram was just glorifying him. That you, by your anger also you are being merciful to me. Even through your anger you are being merciful to me. He was saying fight, fight, fight. Like this he was saying all those things. Na? And Lakshman ji was again getting him angry and angry, more angry. Right? But then Lord Ram made him realize his position. Yeah? Just by speaking that, he said, you know, your word also. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was not much else there. But just Lord Ram made him realize that, you know, what is your position? Actually, Lord Ram was telling him, now understand who am I indirectly. Right? You are speaking, but I am becoming fearless. I am not fearing at all. Lakshman is not fearing at all. And he is shouting, and he was thinking of them like ordinary Kshatriyas. All the Kshatriyas, some of them fainted there as Parshurama entered in that assembly. उनकी धोती खराब हो गई. You know, it said that when Parshurama entered. So, yeah. So like this, Bhrigu Rishi then stood up and he wanted to now curse Lord Shiva's followers. Right? And I was saying Bhrigu Rishi is actually brother of Lord Shiva in that sense. Right? You know that pastime, you know, when Bhrigu Rishi was once given this task to find out who is the supreme. Again, sacrificial ceremony. Who should be the presiding deity of that or head of that, you know, sacrifice. And then Bhrigu Rishi was appointed for that. So he knows everything. So Bhrigu Rishi then went first he went to Brahmaji. He went to Brahmaji and Brahmaji, he did not pay his obeisances to Brahmaji. And Brahmaji in his mind thought, why he hasn't paid obeisances today? And Bhrigu Rishi realized he could read his mind. He said, no, he can't be the supreme. He's still expecting me to bow down to him. But then he goes to Lord Shiva. Now hear this point. As he goes to Lord Shiva gets up from his seat. He runs toward Bhrigu Rishi. My brother has come to see me. Here Dakṣa is getting angry that Lord Shiva didn't even speak to me, didn't even stand up. Here Lord Shiva is running to greet him. So everybody knows what is Dakṣa's position. He was puffed up. Right? His time had come to be punished. So Lord Shiva, he is such a Vaishnava Nam Yatha Shambhu. So Lord Shiva ran towards Bhrigu Rishi. Oh, my brother has come. My brother has come to meet me. How are you, brother? You have come after a long time. And Bhrigu Rishi said, stay away. You are such a filthy person. You stay in a crematorium and look at your body. You are wearing this garland of heads, you know, dead bodies and bones. And, you know, you got dust from the crematorium. Stay away from me. You haven't taken baths for so many days. Lord Shiva now got angry. He picked up his Trishul and he said, let me teach him a lesson. And then Mother Parvati said, no, he's your brother, Swami. He's your brother. Just now you were saying my brother has come. What has happened? And Lord Shiva got angry. Then Bhrigu Rishi said, no, he is also not supreme because he got angry. I was able to disturb his state of mind. Now Bhrigu Rishi goes to Kshir Sagar. He goes to Kshir Sagar. Bhagwan Narayan, Bhagwan Vishnu is lying there. Bhrigu Rishi goes And Bhagavan Narayan stood up. And he says, "Oh, my dear Rishi, what brings you here?" And then Bhrigu Rishi kicks him on his chest. क्या हमेशा सोते रहते हो आलसी की तरह? You are always sleeping like a lazy person. And he kicked him. As Bhrigu Rishi kicked him, the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan Narayan, he touched his foot. He said, "Are you okay, Rishi? Are you okay, my dear? I hope your foot is not hurt." Whereas he kicked Lord so with such a heavy force that there are foot marks on Lord's chest. But instead, Lord is massaging his foot. And now Bhrigu Rishi melted. He melted and he started crying. He paid his obeisances to the Supreme Lord, and he said in his mind that he is the Supreme Lord. And then he came back and told the assembly of sages that the presiding deity of this yagna will be Lord Hari, the Supreme Personality. So that Bhrigu Rishi now gets upset by hearing the words of Nandishwar. Now let's see what he says. Now he says that you are Lord Shiva's followers. Yeah? And you will all become atheists. Pashandin astu. Yeah? Pashandina bhavantu. Te bhavantu. They all will become atheist. Lord Shiva followers. Because you are not following the Vedas. You have disrespected the Vedas. See, now understand this. He is still using Veda as a reference. And he sees Vedas are glorifying Janardhan because you have disrespected the so-called knower of Vedas. He is not disrespecting Janardhan. Did Nandi say anything about Janardhan? No. He is talking about the so-called knowers of Janardhan. Veda, Vada, Rata. Supposed to be the knower of the Vedas. He has criticized them, cursed them. But now Bhrigu Rishi is speaking of a different line. Bhrigu Rishi will also get punishment, by the way. He will also get punished, right? His beard will be taken away. He will get the goat's beard and he will get head of beard. Right? So Bhrigu Rishi stood up and Bhrigu Rishi said, "You are not respecting Janardhan." This is how sometimes people use things against each other, right? If you are not doing something, I won't see the right thing. I will say, "You are disrespecting Krishna." Right? Right? Then we bring Krishna into the picture. I'm already being dual. I'm comparing you. I'm talking to you at a bodily level. I don't see Krishna inside you. I don't see Janardhan inside you, but I'm criticizing you that you have disrespected someone. See? See the fault? We are judging someone at the body level, at a physical level. That is a very important point to be understood, right? So Bhrigu Rishi stood up and he said, "You have disrespected the Vedas. Vedas which glorify Janardhan, so you are disrespected the Vedas. Because of that, you will become atheist. Pashandi. Right? All the Shiva's followers will become Pashandi. They will drink wine, eat flesh, right? And they will take shelter of atheist views." Now, like this, Bhrigu Rishi cursed. Then, after Bhrigu Rishi cursed, it is said that Lord Shiva, he felt morose. He felt morose and he got worried that now, if Nandishwar again starts counter cursing, I better leave this assembly. Yeah. So he says, "Sa Bhagavan Bhava." That Bhagavan Bhav, Lord Shiva. Yeah. Vinishchakram tata. He left that assembly after that point of time. Now Lord Shiva has left the assembly with his followers. Dakṣa has left the assembly. Don't know whether all of his followers went with him. But these two great personalities left the assembly. But still, after they left the assembly, now today's verse. Yeah. What is today's verse? Please recite with me. Te api vishwasraja satram. Te api vishwasraja satram. Sahasra parivatsaran. Samvidhaya maheshwasa.
संविधाः महेश्वास
Yatre jarishabho harihi.
यत्रे जय ऋषभो हरिः.
So after all of this happened, so what Maitreji is telling Vidurji, oh great archer, right? All the progenitors, all the leaders, all the great demigods, Rishi, Muni, knowers of the truth, everyone, they all stayed there. To do what? To perform the yagna. For how long? Thousands of years. Some vidhaya. Some means samyak rupena, performing properly. And why did they do that? What was the purpose? Yatre ja rishabho harihi. Where all the glorification or for the happiness of the Supreme Personality of God. Another important lesson, Guruji Mataji. In our lives, we have so many tribulations, so many curses, counter curses, in family environment, in social environment, at workplace, you know, in our surroundings, in our neighborhood, no matter what happened. So this is the greatest example, right? Lord Shiva had to leave the assembly. I mean, think of the environment, cursing, counter cursing happening. Brahmanas are being cursed. The great personality came. Dakṣa, how his entry is described. Arkam iva Rochisha, who came and who illuminated the whole assembly by his own entry. Vitimiram, Bhrajamanam Vitimiram, which took away the darkness of that assembly. Was there any darkness in that assembly? So sometimes we get, you can say bewildered, we get impressed. That's the point I'm making. Sometimes you get some so-called great personality in your assembly. Let's say somebody walks in and you all get bewildered. So the point is, don't get flowered or don't get floored by outside looks. Right? Imagine Daksh-like personality entering in your assembly. And then just moments after that, he's cursing Lord Shiva. So like these events comes in our lives. So the point I'm making is, let's not get disturbed. Let's stay firm in our conviction. Because the purpose is, Yatre Jaya Rishabho Hari. The purpose is for the happiness of the Supreme Lord. As long as that is the purpose, no problem. Let the problems come. As long as the purpose is to glorify Shri Radha Partha Sarthi Bhagwan, no problem. Like I said last time, let's all get into the chariot of Partha Sarthi Bhagwan, who treats his chariot as his family. Remember these words. Think about it whenever you feel down or whenever there is anything discouraging happens or comes out of mind. Just think yourself, you are his chariot. He is the one who is driving the chariot. He is making sure, right? And he made sure, the Arjun is called in this Bhishma saying Vijaya. Vijaya means who is going to win. Or in a way, his endeavors are going to be successful. And if the endeavors are to please Supreme Lord, why will you not achieve your endeavors? Endeavor is not to, have material gains. Endeavor is to please the Supreme Lord. Why? Why will not happen? Vijaya Rath Kutumba Attotre. Just remember this line. Bhagavan is protecting, Bhagavan is taking. So like this, all the Rishi Munis, they stayed there. They stayed there to complete the yagna, right? And Shiva became morose and left. And then the other progenitors complete the 1,000-year sacrifice. They stayed back. And after performing the 1,000-year sacrifice, then he said, Aap lutya iva abhartham, right? They took a bath after performing the sacrificial ceremonies, where Yatra Ganga Yamuna ya Anvita, at the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna. they took a bath in that area, in that place. And then from there, we Rajita Atmana, very happiness, they were feeling happy in their hearts. Yeah, we Rajitena Atmana, their Atma, their self was very satisfied and they felt happy. And then after that, Sarve Swam Dhama Yatastata. Then all of them, all the demigods, all the rishis, all the sages, great personalities, they went back to their abode and they started performing their regular duties. Yeah. So this place is like a assembly point for us where we come and glorify the Supreme Lord. Then you go back and do your duties. Then you come back again after a week. You glorify Supreme Lord. Then you go back and come back again. Like this, let's plan our routine. Let's plan our. Yeah. Now I will stop here. It's almost time.
Is any reference given for that confluence of Mata Yamuna and Mata Ganga?
Where the confluence is, Prabhu? Is that the question?
Yes. I know the confluence of